fellow members of the advisory board, distinguished guests, fellow advocates of economic empowerment, and architects of our collective future. We are gathered here today under a banner that is as much a challenge as it is a promise. Financial literacy for growth, wealth for generations. When we speak of financial literacy, the world often expects us to talk about spreadsheets, expects us to talk about the mechanics of interest, the nuances of tax codes, or the technicalities of a diversified portfolio. And yes, we will. If we leave the conference having discussed the mechanics of money without addressing the philosophy of wealth, we should. Financial literacy is not skill. It is the fundamental grammar of freedom. We live in a world where the gap between the haves and the have-nots is often just a gap between taught the rules of the game and those who were forced to play without a manual. Just how to balance a checkbook. We are here to dismantle the cycle of starting from zero. We are here to move from survival to stability, from stability to success, and from success to legacy. The first half of our theme is growth. But what kind of growth are we talking about? In nature, growth that happens too fast without deep roots is called a weed. It looks in for a season, then withers at the first bad weather. Growth that leads to wealth is more like an oak tree. It is slow, and structural. For too long, the financial literacy has been framed as a way for individuals to get ahead. While that is important, it is a narrow lens. The true focal lens for financial literacy-led growth means economic mobility for an entire society. One that understands how to leverage credit, she doesn't just buy a house, she's a neighborhood. When a young entrepreneur understands cash flow management, they don't just pay their bills, they create jobs. Growth is the byproduct of competence. We must stop treating financial education as an elective. It's for human current globalized markets, an illiterate person isn't just someone who can't read a book. It's someone who cannot read a contract or an investment prospectus. They are vulnerable to predators and excluded from the engines of prosperity. We must address a dangerous myth, the assumption that a high IQ or intelligence or knowledge or a world full of degrees equates to financial intelligence. It does not. In fact, some of the most financially precarious individuals you've ever met are academically elite. Scientists who can perform 12-hour miracles but cannot read a balance sheet. We see professors, 3 master's degrees, who are tenured in their fields, enslaved to terrible investment products. Academic literacy is the ability to consume and produce information. Financial literacy is the ability to understand how value is created, protected, and multiplied. One teaches you how to work, the other teaches you how to make that salary work for you. You can be a genius and still be a financial infant. You can be a master of history and still be a victim of the future because you don't understand the time value of money. Financial literacy is the great equalizer because it doesn't care about your GPA. It's for the street vendor, the software engineer, the state apartment, and the CEO. Until we bridge the gap between being smart and being money smart, we will continue to see brilliant people living lives of quiet financial desperation. To move from literacy to wealth, we have to talk about the most important financial organ in the body, and that is the brain. Wealth is not an amount of money. It is a way of thinking. You can have a poverty mindset, and within a few years, they will likely be broke. You can take every penny from a person with a wealth mindset, and within a few years, they will likely be millionaires again. Why? Because wealth is built on the delay of gratification and understanding of compounding. Financial literacy teaches us that the Ghanaian cedi is not just something to be spent. It is a seed. If you eat the seed today, you are full for an hour. If you plant the seed, you feed your children's children. The greatest barrier to generational wealth in our modern culture is the performance of prosperity. We live in an age of social media where the pressure to look wealthy is at an all-time high. People are spending their future wealth to buy the appearance of present. Our job at CFLE is to make boring wealth attractive again. We need to celebrate the index fund over the flashy car. We need to celebrate the paid-off consumer finance over the luxury vacation. We must teach our communities that true wealth is what you don't, is the assets working in the background while you sleep. Now let us look at the second half of our theme, wealth for generations. This is where the conversation gets a bit uncomfortable, because generational wealth requires us to think beyond our own lifespan. It requires a level of selflessness that is rare in the environment. Generational wealth is the ability to pass down not just assets, but access and legacy. Most wealth globally in history is lost by the third generation. And in our case in Ghana, it is even bad. Most wealth is lost by the next generation. The first generation builds it, the second generation manages it, and the third generation spends it. This happens because the first generation passed down the money, but forgot to pass down the literacy. To build wealth for generations, we must build a family bank of knowledge. This means normalization of money talk. We must break the taboo of talking about money at the dinner table. Children should grow up knowing what dividend is as clearly as they do ABCs. We must teach the tools of the golden handshake, and that is trust, wills, insurance, and estate planning. Without these, the government, the banks, and the legal system become the primary heirs to our hardware. We must teach the next generation that wealth is a tool for impact. If they view money only as a means for consumption, they will deplete it. If they view it as a means for influence and legacy, they will grow it. We cannot speak of future generations without speaking of the tools they will use. We are in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution. The wealth of the next century will look very different from the wealth of the last. It will be digital. It will be decentralized. It will be driven by intellectual property and data. If our financial literacy programs are still stuck in 1995, we are preparing our children for a world that no longer exists. We must integrate digital literacy into financial literacy. We need to discuss the ethics of AI in finance, the volatility of digital assets, and the security risk of a cashless society. How many of you now in the conference room are Access Service Providers Act 2025 Act 1154? If you are not aware of it, how do you position yourself to tap into the benefits and protect yourself from the pitfalls? But here's the danger. Technology, if you have a solid financial foundation, tech will make you wealthy easier and faster. If you have no foundation, tech will help you to go broke at the speed of light. Our mission at CFLE Africa is to ensure that technology becomes a ladder for the masses, not a travel card only for the elite. I want to speak directly to the policymakers, if we are around, and the industry leaders in the room. And then let's pass this on to them. Financial literacy cannot be used as an excuse for systemic inequality. We cannot budget our way out of a lack of living wages, invest our way out of predatory lending processes. While we empower the individual, we must also advocate for a fairer system. Wealth for generations is only possible in a stable, equitable society. When the middle class shrinks, the foundations of the economy crumble for everyone, including the wealthy. True growth is inclusive. It means ensuring that the unbanked gets access to the tools of the modern economy. It means ensuring that small businesses, the backbone of our generational wealth, have access to fair capital. Our goal is not to create a few more billionaires. Our goal is to create millions of families who are economically sovereign, families who cannot be held hostage by a single salary or a single medical emergency. As I draw to a close, I want to give a challenge. I want you to take a series of 12 months and think in 20 cycles. When you leave this conference, I don't want just update your LinkedIn or file your notes. I want you to change one specific thing about how you communicate value to the next generation. Make it visceral. Don't just teach math, teach power. Show students the trajectory of a life with compound interest versus a life with compound debt. Children the gift of financial mistakes while the stakes are low. Let them manage a budget now so they don't mismanage an inheritance later. Simplify, stop hiding behind jargons. Transparency is the highest form of businesses that are sellable or inheritable. Move away from the solopreneur trap and systems that outlive you. There is an old Greek proverb that says, a society grows great when men plant trees in whose shade they shall never see. That is the essence of wealth for generations. We are the planters. Many of us, of you in the room, are either students or are working hard after you are gone. That is not a tragedy. It is the highest form of human achievement. Financial literacy is the water. Growth is the sunlight. But the will to build for someone at let us go forth from this conference not just as experts, but as answers. Let us build a world where poverty is a memory, where literacy is a universal language, and where every child, regardless of where they come from or the families into which they are born, have the truth. The work begins today, and the wealth belongs to tomorrow. At thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the opportunity. God bless you all.
And God bless you too, Mr. John Awuah. Again, Mr. John Awuah is the Executive Officer of Ghana Association of Banks, and he's the Chairman of CFLE Africa Advisory Board.